Months after the Doklam standoff between India and China was resolved, China raised the issue with Bhutan. On his three-day visit to Thimpu, Chinese Foreign Minister Xuanyou discussed the boundary issue with the leaders of the Himalayan nation. China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Geng Shuang said, and I quote, "The two sides exchanged views on China, Bhutan ties and boundary issues and reached many agreements. The meeting is of prominence considering the fact that China has no diplomatic ties with Bhutan. The nation have an unresolved border dispute that has spanned several decades now. The Doklam plateau is part of the disputed border where the boundaries of India, China and Bhutan meet. China has offered 269 square kilometer of area in the western sector to Bhutan in lieu of 100 square kilometer of Doklam. Bhutan refuses to accept this. India and China were locked in an over 2-month-long military standoff near the boundary in Doklam Plateau. The standoff began in June when the Indian troops stalled a road building by the Chinese army in the area. The Indian army cited the disputed status of the region and its close proximity to India's artery in the northeast. Months after the Doklam standoff between India and China was resolved, China raised the issue with Bhutan. On his three-day visit to Thimpu, Chinese Foreign Minister Kong discussed the boundary issue with the leaders of the Himalayan nation. China's Foreign Ministry spokesperson Geng said, and I quote, that the two sides exchanged views on China-Bhutan ties and boundary issues and reached many agreements. The meeting is of prominence considering the fact that China has no diplomatic ties with Bhutan. The nations have an unresolved border dispute that has spawned several decades now. The importance is that the China still continue to desire Doklam, whereas Bhutan has said strictly no. And in fact, such was an offer that in lieu of 100 square kilometer, China was willing to part 269 square kilometer of area in the other sector to Bhutan. Bhutan has said no. It has great significance to India. From Doklam, the China will have the bird's eye view and at a very striking distance from India's chicken neck, which connects West Bengal to the northeastern sector. It's a small corridor and it's of vital importance to India. And I'm joined by Gaurav Sharma from Beijing. Gaurav, my question is, why such strong insistence on Doklam that the China is willing to give 269 square kilometers in lieu of 100 square kilometer, which is Doklam?
This is, this has been an offer which has been made by Beijing to Thimpu before. If you say that this is not the offer made by Beijing in the meeting which happened between the foreign minister and its Bhutanese counterpart. Let me tell you, this is very important because Beijing is trying to reach, or in fact China is trying to reach out to Bhutan at a time when Beijing's tension with Delhi is cooling off. So it's very, very important. Now China is secretly going to Thimpu, reaching out to Thimpu and trying to trying to settle its boundary dispute. And you know, Doklam is of very, very strategic importance to all the three countries. You know, it is at the tri-junction of India, China, and Bhutan border, and that's so very important because it's very close to India's arterial Siliguri corridor, which connects India's northeast with the rest of the country. So it's very, very important, and that was the reason of this. That was the reason of standoff when Indian troops objected to Chinese road building in that area. And if you see, when the question was asked to Geng Shuang, what was discussed, he actually said that boundary issue was discussed between Bhutan and China. So if the boundary issue was discussed, it means that Doklam has certainly figured in the talks. And there's another statement by Chinese Foreign Ministry which says that China respects Bhutan's territorial integrity. And let me tell you, last year when there was a standoff between Indian and Chinese military. Chinese media came out in the open and accused India of meddling into Bhutan's domestic affairs. It also blames India because it says that because of India, Bhutan doesn't have a diplomatic ties with Beijing. And in fact, Beijing has been trying its hard to establish a diplomatic relationship with Bhutan because its strategic importance is really it's of high strategic importance to China, because if China comes on Doklam, it will have a bird's eye view over India's arterial corridor.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you for this update.